back in the late 90s, they had this experiment where people were told to live in a room. And I forget how long it was. It was like maybe a week or two. It was a fixed length of time. And what they were given was they were given a computer and a credit card. And the experiment was to see whether they would be able to purchase everything that they needed just using a computer. And this was quite a novel idea at the time, because you weren't necessarily able to buy everything that you needed with a PC. So I think that was one of the components of it. The other thing was that they had a psychologist on standby, because back then a week for most people would have been the longest that they would have ever have gone without human contact. You know, back then it would be unusual if you had gone for a day or two without seeing someone. And so, yeah, that was an experiment back then. When I was 18, we got broadband. I say we, I got it from my room. I was the only one that had a computer, and I had it in my room. And I couldn't get off it. I genuinely could not get off it. I was on it night and day, and everyone, friends, girls, all sorts of people would ask me, do you want to come out? Do you want to come out for a date? Do you want to come out for a drink? And I would just say no. And this was mad. I was addicted. I was genuinely addicted to being online, because it had been before that such a restrictive thing, because it was dial-up. You had to use the phone, so nobody else could use the phone line while you were online, and you had to have an ISP, all of these things. Like, so the fact that you would just go to your computer and the internet was on was revolutionary, absolutely revolutionary. And I was thoroughly addicted to it, absolutely addicted to it. So I'd never had this before, and I couldn't get off it. And it's like I had disconnected from the social part of my life. I worked in a nightclub, so it wasn't that bad, but I had totally disconnected from the social aspect of myself, generally speaking. So there came a time when the only time that I actually ever gave it up was when my computer was finally, and there was no point in even trying anymore. That was it. My computer was broken. That was the only thing that stopped me. And then I got back to living life again. I moved to Nottingham, got out a bit more, saw a few more things, changes in life and perspective and all of that business. And yeah, so that was a positive thing. But I'll never forget the sort of the weird mindset that my mind went into when I was that disconnected. And so here's the lesson. I think, from my own experience and having seen experiences of others, of how much damage it can do to somebody's mental health when they don't kind of like live in the real world. And so what I would say is that I think we need to ban things like delivery. I think we need to ban things like Uber. I think we need to ban things like Amazon. The reason why I think we need to ban these things is I could make the environmental impact every day from Sunday. That if you live in walking distance from the takeaway, walk to the takeaway. You know, if you can't walk to the takeaway, there's something very, very wrong there. But it's like, you know, walk to the takeaway, or it's these things that are causing people to stay indoors and to live a life online. Because now that you can doesn't necessarily mean that you should. Oh, but Ben, I think banning might be push? No, no, because these things are bad for people's health. It is bad for someone's health if they go online to purchase something rather than if they actually have to leave the house to purchase something. It is bad for someone's health if they have ordered fast food with the touch of a button, not even with the idea that they could potentially walk it off. The fact that these things, that living online creates this insular kind of society, it breeds these sorts of ideas that people have now that go unchecked because they're not engaging with broader society in a way that if you said something that was a little bit fruity 20 years ago, people would pull you up and say, are you okay? That doesn't sound right. People aren't doing that anymore. And this is what it's leading to, is it's leading to mental health problems. And that's what we need to do. We need to ban these things so that people will actually get out of their house and will engage with the wider world. Because when they don't do that, it's only a matter of time before they fall into some deep, deep, deep problems.